Let's jump to Georgia, Ole Miss.
Yep.
Georgia was a 10.5-point favorite. They win this one 52-17, clinching the SEC East for the third year in a row. What you got on this one?
I had the hook. I thought that it was going to be a 10-point win, and I could not have been more wrong. I said that Jackson Dart was going to have to do it on his feet as much as Judkins did, and they just wasn't there. They got outclassed. That's probably where the Lane Kiffin question came in earlier. It's hard to go in the hedges and win. It hadn't been done in like 3 years for that reason. So It's not surprising. I didn't think they were going to win by this many. Thought Ole Miss was going to hold their own a little bit, but Georgia's back. They're no longer frauds. It's like saw some on ESPN. Alabama has a 43% chance to make the playoff, and Georgia's at 42, which kind of points to Bryant-Denny East, a.k.a. Mercedes-Benz Stadium. They were going to be the favorite. But I don't know how they can favorite us after this week. Like, even though we played well, Georgia played that much better. Like, McConkey went nuts again, and then they put Bowers in, and, oh, look, he scored again. So it's going to be fun. I know a lot of people go to that game. I'm still debating it, but it's going to be a great SEC championship again.
Yeah, and you alluded to it. Alabama also beat Kentucky, so it's going to be the second time in 3 years that Georgia and Alabama will face off in the SEC championship with a college football playoff bid on the line. That's kind of always the case. It will be yet again. This is not somewhere we thought we'd be sitting 5 weeks ago even.
No.
Yeah, so Alabama's really turned it around. I know you're from there. You're making the illusions of SEC East.
Bryant-Denny East.
Yeah, Bryant-Denny East. Oh, God.
It's a beautiful stadium. It's my favorite stadium to go to outside of, of course, I think I'd put it Bryant-Denny there, Tiger Stadium. It's just all the atmospheres, no matter what game's going on. It's sick. It'll be a good game. Bama looked really good this week. Sorry, we're bouncing around with my pivot. But Jalen Milroe's finally stepping into his role. He took a lot of heat the first 2 weeks after that Texas loss. And then at USF, we saw what our other options were, and I'm glad we stuck with them. And it's a really good defense. Looks amazing as always. And we were out 4 wide receivers this week, including Jermaine Burton. And everybody stepped up. Running game looked great. Defense looked great. Happy where we're at.
Yeah. If you go back 2 years ago, whenever Georgia won the national championship for the first time in 40 years, you look at that SEC championship game, Alabama was favored going into it and won that game.
Yep.
Georgia was favored.
We won that game.
Yes. So Georgia was favored going into the SEC championship. Alabama won it. And then they faced each other a month later. Georgia was favored yet again and won that game. I think what you can see here is you're not going to see, and I don't think there's a path where if Alabama goes into the SEC championship and beats them, I don't know if Georgia can still get in. Do you?
No.
I think there's too many one-loss teams with a chance to win their conference.
Yeah, and even especially with Texas. If they went out, then we have that problem there. If we both went out, and both of us can still be on the bubble. And I think our strength of schedules are switched by 8 and 9 or 9 and 10. Yeah. So it's just how much do those early season losses matter for the one-loss teams and how strong their conference is as a whole.
Yeah.
I would love to see us beat Georgia and them make it and have to play again. I think they are one of the 4 best teams in the country, but I just don't think it'll shake out that way.
I agree. I do think they're one of the 4 best teams in the country. I don't think Alabama's far off from that. I think Georgia will probably be favored in that game, but there's more than a couple ways Alabama can win it.
Yeah.
Jalen Milroe has skyrocketed up into the 6th spot in the Heisman race, or I think he's tied for the 5th best odds.
Something like that. It's 5th or 6th.
Yeah, he's somewhere in there. But it's what is it, plus 5,000?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it won't happen, but it's good to see his name bump up, especially after the beginning of the season.
At this point, whether he wins it or not, he could very likely end up in New York.
Yeah.
Which would be interesting considering he literally got benched in week 3.
Yeah.
So hell of a turnaround from him.